action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another TNINews video. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you know I've been doing more and more live stream videos, which is something I'm kind of steering the channel towards. I'm really liking that format. But I realize that those videos can sometimes be long and that people, live stream isn't for everybody. So I am going to continue to crank out regular news videos. However, for the most part, I'm just going to be recapping stuff that I've already talked about in those live streams. So if you've already watched those, you're probably pretty much up to date on all the latest news. Though I do have one or two new tidbits that I haven't talked about. But mainly my point is that this is kind of just a recap of the recent news over the past few days. And again, if you've been watching the live streams, you pretty much know what I'm going to be saying here. So let's jump into it. There's a lot of things to cover. There's a lot of things that have been coming out since I last did a regular news video. And let's start off on the NECA, or not NECA, but on the Funko Pop front. I know I don't talk a lot about Funko, but there's some cool stuff coming. And specifically, I wanted to share with you this image that comes from Ben Spark, who has gotten his hands on the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles classic Metalhead Pop Vinyl figure. This is going to be a Target exclusive. The official release date is said to be 11/27, so next month. But if you're into Turtles and you like Funko Pops, even if you don't like Funko Pops that much, this might be one you want to check out. Again, it's of the Turtles classic Metalhead. So if you've been hunting NECA Turtle stuff, you'll have another Turtle item you can keep an eye out for. And then for you Masters of the Universe fans, we got some reveals yesterday of new Funko Pop figures based on that property. So for the regular figures that they're doing, we're going to be getting a Terraclaw Skeletor, King Randor, She-Ra, Skeletor on Panther, Cobra Khan, and Grizzlor. So those are all regular release figures. Then we're also getting a 10-inch supersized pop of He-Man and some keychains of those same figures, some miniatures on the keychains with those same figures. Then for what's being called limited editions, they are doing a flocked version of Skeletor on his Panther, which is nice. The Panther is flocked, not Skeletor. Grizzlor, there's going to be a flocked version of Grizzlor. And then what I'm calling Castle Grayskull He-Man and Snake Mountain Skeletor. Those are all going to be limited editions. For exclusives, there's going to be a metallic version of the Terraclaw Skeletor, which is going to be coming to Target stores. And then there's a miniature keychain version of that figure, the metallic version, that is going to be exclusive to Hot Topics. The final figure is a specialty series glow-in-the-dark She-Ra. So all of her yellow parts will brightly shine, in the dark. So that's kind of cool. So again, normally I don't cover the Funko stuff, but definitely I think those might appeal to both Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans. Now, another piece of brand new news that I've yet to talk about is Threezero has released a new image for their upcoming 12-inch scale G.I. Joe Snake Eyes figure. So we did see this figure. It was on display at one of the overseas conventions earlier this month. But now we're getting an official image, our first official image of the figure, showing it from behind. So you can see he's got the two swords and everything. Overall, this figure continues to look pretty good. I don't know if this is based on any particular design, like a movie, or if this is just their rendition of Snake Eyes. But still, I think it's looking pretty good. Now, it should be noted that this figure, we can see from the image at the bottom there, it's listed as a Fig Zero. So that's kind of their specialty line, highly articulated, what they call affordable figures. I don't know what the price is going to be on this. I don't know what their idea of affordable is, but probably, it's going to be in the neighborhood of, I would say, between $100 and $200. But hopefully we'll be getting more details on this figure, more images and everything in the coming days. For you Super 7 fans, we got a new Andre the Giant Ultimate figure coming from them. This one is being listed as the robe figure because I guess he's wearing a robe. Now, this is based on Andre in his early days when he wrestled over in Japan. So, it looks a little bit different than what we used to from his later days in WWE or WWF back then, actually. But, with this figure, you get 3 different head sculpts, multiple pairs of hands. He's got a can of beer because, Andre always loved his beer. And you get the robe, of course, which is removable. So, I don't know. The head sculpts look okay. Again, Andre's look changed a little bit over the years as he gained more weight and stuff. So, I don't know. But I think if you're an Andre fan, especially if you got the previous Ultimate figures that they did for Andre the Giant, this is probably one you're going to want to check out. Now, last time I checked, this is available for pre-order on the Super 7 store, but I haven't seen it up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store yet. But usually they do carry those. Another thing I wanted to share with you is this Disney Store exclusive, the Haunted Mansion Hitchhiking Ghost 3-pack, which is part of the Super 7 Reaction line. Again, these are Disney Store exclusives. If you're a big Disney fan, you might want to check this out, but just, get ready for some sticker shock because, these are 3 3/4 inch figures, 5 points of articulation, but the set is selling on the Disney Store website for $60. For NECA Toys, so this week, the guys at Fush did a new interview with Randy Falk, and with that interview, we got some new updated images for the upcoming Target exclusive animated series Turtle 2-pack featuring Rat King and Vernon. So we had seen these figures first debuted back in July, but these new images I think give us a better look at the figure. Now this 2-pack is going to be part of the 5th wave. It should be the first 2-pack released here in the United States for Wave 5. Randy said in that interview he's hoping that this will start shipping out at the end of this year. I don't know if these will actually start, if these are supposed to start hitting stores this year or will just ship out from the factory and we'll see them early next year. But definitely, this is the first 2-pack in Wave 5, which we'll either see at the end of this year or early next year. The second 2-pack, I think, coming in Wave 5 is going to be the Muckman and Mondo Gecko, which is another, which were other figures that we saw back in July, but we do not have any updated images for those. Other interesting tidbits of information from that interview that the guys at Fush did, and I will put a link to that in the video description below if you haven't checked it out. It is 2 hours. It's kind of a long one, but, like I said, it definitely has some interesting turtle tidbits. So just some highlights for the video game line. Randy had said that they are looking to expand that line so that it's not just repaints. We already saw the other week with the Rocksteady and Bebop pirate versions from the video game. They also are going to probably expand out beyond just the Turtles in Time video game, do figures based on other video games from the Turtles that have been released over the years. And then another possibility, these are sold at the specialty market, essentially online, and they might also start doing Mirage-based comic figures with those. So they might go back and forth, do a wave based on the video games, and then a wave based on the Mirage comics. So that's something that's a possibility. The Rocksteady and Bebop 2-pack, the Pirate 2-pack, is going to probably cost around $55. There's also the Deluxe Baxter Stockman that they're doing for the video game line, which will differ from the comic book version, and that's being sold as a single deluxe, which will be around $30. If you collect other NECA brands like Predator and stuff, you're probably familiar that they generally will do these visual guides where they put up, it's essentially like a poster type deal that you can download, and it shows like all the different figures that they've done. So they do plan on doing that with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I believe that should be up by the end of the year. Now, one of the things that will differ a little bit is that Randy actually talked about doing a print version that they will start including with action figures, which will maybe even have some figures that go into next year that we have not yet seen. So like actually new reveals with this, kind of like a throwback to the old catalogs that you would get with action figures that showed you upcoming stuff, with Star Wars and G.I. Joe and stuff used to do that. So that's kind of what they're going for with this. Kind of cool. There will again be an online version, but I don't think that'll have the new never before seen action figures. At least that's kind of what Randy was saying in the interview. Another cool thing that I really hope happens is, again, and I've heard Randy talk about this before, but looks like they are continuing to really kind of plan on doing vehicles and play sets for the animated series line. I'm guessing will likely be done a direct-to-consumer sale, not sold at Target, like they did with the City Diorama playset, which according to Randy sold really well. So two of the things that he mentioned in the interview were a turtle lair playset, like a full-on playset for the turtle lair. I don't know if that would be something like a continuation of the city diorama, where you could have the city diorama on top and then set that on top of the sewer layer and then have that underneath. That would be really cool, I think. If it would be cool and a cool idea. Of course, I didn't get the city diorama, so that would kind of suck that I wouldn't have it. But we'll have to see how they do that. And then also a van is another option that they listed for a vehicle. So I think there's definitely I imagine they probably would do the van before they do the playset, but we'll have to see how that goes. And again, those were hinted for possibilities of next year. The deluxe Krang figure is going to have multiple antenna pieces for the top of the android body, so if you break or lose one, you will have replacement parts. They realize that's going to be a delicate piece that is actually going to be, it's not going to be it'll be packed separately with the figure, so you'll plug it in so it doesn't break in the packaging. But then they've also included extra ones. I think they said like 3 different antenna pieces in case you lose or break it. So that's a nice, thinking ahead. A lot of those NECA figures do have delicate parts that you have to be really careful with. So again, it's kind of cool that they're thinking ahead on that one. That's definitely one. The Krang and Android body is definitely one that I'm looking forward to. Switching over to movies, just a couple tidbits. So there are more Casey Jones figures coming. Randy indicated that they do now have the ability to do the likeness of the actor, so do expect like an unmasked version. However, Randy specifically said that they weren't going to just reissue the same Casey Jones that we got previously in the 2-pack with an unmasked head sculpt. He kind of indicated that we'll probably see at least 2 different versions of Casey coming for the movie line, so we'll have to stay tuned. Oh, and also going back to the Target stuff, there was indications that they're going to be re-releasing the original Turtle figures as this year, as possibly kind of hinted, didn't say specifically, but kind of hinted, I guess, as a box set, maybe with new accessories. And then again, next year we'll probably see the Turtles reissued as new 2-packs with maybe different packaging, just so they realize that people missed out on the first wave of Turtles, and obviously you're not going to really collect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures unless you're able to actually have the Turtles. So they are taking steps to get those figures back out to people. Just to note, the Roadkill Rodney and Triceraton 2-pack was initially supposed to go up for pre-order or available for purchase on the Target website this week, earlier this week on Monday. It did not materialize. NECA has said that those dates are tentative and they don't really have control over when Target actually puts them up. You would think if Target's telling them a date, Target would at least try and stick to that. Just a quick update, the Triceraton and Roadkill Rodney 2-pack is now actually listed on the Target website. As I'm filming this, it has not been made available for purchase, but I will put a link to it down below so you can track it. And hopefully today will be the day it actually becomes available for purchase. And good luck to everybody. It's probably not going to last more than 20 minutes, if that long. So, keep your eyes peeled. One final Turtle tidbit is for you movie fans, they do want to do the Master Tetsu character, Shredder's second in command from the movies. However, they are having difficulties getting in contact and getting the likeness rights for the actor, so that's holding that figure up. If they are successful in that, then I think we'll definitely see that figure materialize in the line. So just, like I said, hopefully that's something they're able to get done. And then definitely movie figures will continue into next year. They will continue to be Walmart exclusives. And look for a number of stuff to celebrate the anniversary of The Secret of the Ooze, which will be hitting its 30th anniversary next year. On the Back to the Future front, we got new updated images for their Doc Brown figure. And then also there should be a new reveal coming later today. So if I end up doing another live stream this evening, we'll probably talk about that. I don't know if it's an action figure or something else. I've been thinking about it. At first I was thinking maybe it'd be based on like the Leah Thompson character, but probably more likely it's just going to be either another version of Biff or another version of Doc Brown. For Doc Brown, maybe, an 80s version or even possibly the future version. As far as if we see Biff, my guess it would be Biff's son from Back to the Future 2, which was played by the same actor. But then they could do his hoverboard. I forget the name of it, but it had that special case that opened up and the hoverboard would drop out. and then you could attach other hoverboards onto the back of it. So I could see NECA maybe trying to do that figure with a really cool hoverboard. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, that reveal is expected later today, along with a new Predator reveal. So again, if I do a live stream later today, I definitely will be talking about whatever NECA announces. And then finally on the NECA front, for you folks that have been waiting for the Defenders of Earth figures that were announced back in February during Toy Fair, according to Randy, the first 3 figures should be shipping out to stores at the end of this year and be on shelves by early next year. The first 3 figures that they are doing are Flash Gordon, Ming, and the Phantom. And then they've showed 5 figures at Toy Fair, and they've said that they have other figures that they've been sculpting. So I assume as long as these figures sell decently, we will continue to see that line expand from them. And those are 7-inch scale figures. This weekend for MezcoCon, Mezco revealed a new 112 Collective DC comic-based figure. So this one is based on Dr. Fate. We don't have any specific details. Hopefully it will be going up for pre-order pretty soon. Overall, I think it looks pretty good. It looks like the eyes are going to light up with the helmet. You get that translucent shield, which looks really good. So even though I'm not a fan of all the 112 Collective figures, based on these images that we're seeing, and of course it's only 2 images, but I do kind of like how this figure is looking. So again, hopefully more details on that will be coming soon. A lot of news on the McFarlane toy front since this weekend, since I last talked to you guys. So first of all, I just wanted to let you guys know for that DC Multiverse Flashpoint Batman figure, that should be coming out in the near future. Folks are McFarlane has been sending out samples. Ahsoka the Geek was the first person to get a review of that figure up. Shartimus Prime is going to be reviewing that figure very soon. But one thing I wanted to note about the figure is that according to Ahsoka, I have not heard this directly from McFarlane, but according to Ahsoka, and since they did send him the figure, I'm going to take him at his word. He's saying that the figure is going to first be released at Target stores, the regular version, and then we'll see release everywhere later on. So it's not a Target exclusive, but like we often see with the McFarlane stuff, McFarlane is giving first crack at one of the large retailers, and for this particular figure, it looks like it's going to be Target. Now, a new bit of news that came out this week is there's also going to be a second variant version of this figure released. We know McFarlane loves his variants and his repaints. With this one, this variant, we're getting an unmasked head sculpt with the Thomas Wayne. This is Thomas Wayne Batman, so we're getting an unmasked head sculpt for him. And then also, instead of pistols, we are getting a sword. I don't know if it'll come with pistols as well. It would be kind of funny if you gave us a figure with holsters and no pistols, but definitely with this variant, you're going to be getting a sword with the figure that's not included with the regular version. So no details on how or when that figure is going to be. Well, actually, the win is supposed to be March of next year, but I don't know if this is going to be some kind of store exclusive or this is a variant that will be released everywhere. They didn't specifically use any word exclusive at any point, but you never know with McFarlane, so we'll just have to wait and see. This weekend, McFarlane announced that they are going to be doing a 12-inch Commando Spawn figure that's going to be released under the Mortal Kombat 11 banner. So you can see here that this figure has minimal articulation, which I think is in keeping with most of the 12-inch figures they do these days. He does come with the rifle, and he's got a plasma effect that you can put on the left hand. This, I believe, will be available everywhere. They didn't give a price, but normally the 12-inch figures, the modern 12-inch figures they've been doing cost around $40, so that's what I suspect this one is going to cost. Definitely would be cool if they do a 7-inch articulated version of this guy. He's got the scarf over his face and everything, and he's got the added guns and bullets and everything. So would be kind of a cool figure to see them do in 7-inch scale, as long as they add articulation to it. Again, with this 12-inch version, it looks like it's going to have minimal articulation. This week, we got our first look at the DC Multiverse Bane Build-A-Figure, which is going to be part of that Last Night on Earth wave that we saw a few weeks ago. So we'd seen the regular figures in this wave, official images for the regular figures, but we had not seen the Build-A-Figure. So this is our first look at the Build-A-Figure. And just to recap, that wave is going to include all based on the Last Night on Earth storyline. So we're getting a Batman figure with the severed Joker head, which they showed prototypes of the severed Joker head. And then we're getting the character Omega, which is a Batman-like character. We're getting Wonder Woman with the Mohawk. And then probably the coolest figure in the wave, I think, is Scarecrow, which is actually supposed to be able to fit on the back of the Bane figure. They have not shown any images of that, but that is supposed to be one of the features. In the comics, Scarecrow rides around on the back of Bane. I've been seeing a lot of mixed reactions on this Bane figure. A lot of people don't seem to like this particular design. Some people think he looks too fat. I've seen that comment come up more than once. I think it looks pretty good overall. It is said to be their biggest figure in the line to date. And I also, I would say if you're hesitant about the figure, wait until we see what it looks like with the Scarecrow. Again, this is a very story-specific version of Bane. Hopefully we will get a more classic Bane in the near future from McFarlane. I'm sure they could take the sculpt and make it look more like classic Bane with all the hoses coming out of his back and everything. I really hope we see a Nightfall line of Batman figures with Azrael and the Nightfall armor and stuff. But as it is, like I said, I'm definitely seeing mixed reactions. But for me, I'm really kind of waiting to see what the figure looks like with the Scarecrow on the back. We also, when they revealed the Bane figure, they were using the Damian Robin, the upcoming Damian Robin figure. So we got a new look at that one as well. That is coming in a different wave. That's coming in the wave that's going to have the Drowned character, the Red Sun Superman, and then the final figure in that wave, including Damian Robin, is going to be the Death Metal Batman. And then, of course, there's going to be that Batcycle, which will be sold separately. Now, just as I'm filming this video, Todd released a video showing both the Batcycle and the Batman figure and giving us our first look at the two together with Batman riding it. And you can see here with this image, it looks like it actually fits pretty good even with the jacket. And I'll put a link to the story in TNI if you want to see the whole video where he kind of demonstrates the figure and the bike. We had another rumor confirmed. I told you about this at the beginning of the month. But there are new DC Injustice, Gorilla Grodd, and Flash figures coming from McFarlane. These are part of the DC Multiverse line. These should both be single release figures, so the Grodd is not like a Build-A-Figure or anything. And these should be out in March according to McFarlane Toys. These again are based on the video game series, but with Grodd, it's very similar to his comic book series. I do hope the helmet is removable, or we get maybe an alternate head since this one is kind of screaming. Though, obviously, we see a lot with McFarlane. Instead of giving us two head sculpts, we get variant figures. So that might be another route they go. But anyway, Grodd is coming. And then the Injustice Flash, which, is another Flash figure. But, if you like the video game designs, this may be one that you want to check out. And like I said, these should be both single releases. And the release date that McFarlane is listing for them is March of 2021. Now, besides DC and Spawn, McFarlane has announced a few new My Hero Academia 7-inch scale figures. So we are getting, and if I butcher these names, I do apologize. This is another property. I don't follow that closely. But Kirishima is coming, and that one is going to be featured in the Season 3 hero costume. Probably the coolest figure here is going to be the All For One character with the big mutated arm. I don't know if there will be any kind of alternate arm. Obviously, that mutated arm looks very unarticulated and probably will make the figure kind of side heavy. So it'll be interesting to see how well it stands. But I don't know if it's going to have like an interchangeable arm feature, or again, I wouldn't be surprised if they do some kind of variant. And then the final figure is Azuku, which is going to be in his Season 2 hero outfit. Then besides those, McFarlane just yesterday announced that he's also going to be doing 5-inch My Hero Academia figures. It looks like he's essentially just going to be re-releasing the same figures he had done in 7-inch scale, now in 5-inch. Now with these figures are less articulated. It looks like they only have about 5 points of articulation. McFarlane said these figures are going to cost under $10, and I believe with all this other My Hero Academia stuff, Todd is trying to hit the kids market. So we're getting the 5-inch figures. We're also getting 12-inch figures, again with minimal articulation and lights and sounds, and even role play items. So even though McFarlane is a collector company, obviously, with toys, I think more money is made with the kids stuff. And so McFarlane, My Hero Academia, I think is something that appeals to both young and old. So Todd, and also it's definitely something that the stores like Target, Walmart like to see. So Todd is trying to expand into the kid demographic with this brand. So I wouldn't really expect adult collectors to be, maybe the 5-inch figures if you don't mind 5 points of articulation, but definitely I don't think the 12-inch or the role play stuff is going to appeal to too many adult action figure collectors. Storm Collectibles released this week official images for their upcoming Darkstalkers Dimitri Maximoff figure. So we had seen some teaser images for this figure. This figure is now available for pre-order at places like our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store. This is the first figure they're doing in the Darkstalkers line, but I imagine they're going to do a whole bunch of them, especially if this one does well. Back in the day, Soda was going to do Darkstalker figures, and then I think Toy Biz did some Darkstalker figures, 5-inch ones. So, but really, we have not gotten really highly detailed, larger scale figures from anybody. So with this figure, you're going to get 3 different head sculpts, multiple pairs of hands, and then for special power effects, you're going to get a fireball effect, and then you're going to get his fire bat, which I think is pretty cool, and I think it has a little stand for the bat. And this is going to be out in early 2021. And like I said, this figure is now available for pre-order. On the Marvel front, we got a new roleplay item that was revealed this week. And it's actually our very first item based on the Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney Plus series. So it is pretty much just a repaint item of the Captain America, the MCU Captain America shield. I don't know if repaint's the right word. Looks like maybe a little bit different sculpting detail with the line work and the silver portion from the MCU version. But, for the most part, it is very similar to that MCU Captain America shield, which it should be. I mean, it's the shield that Cap gave to Falcon at the end of Avengers Endgame. The back is almost identical with the silver and then the leather straps and everything. You do have the Falcon and Winter Soldier logos on the packaging, which also is something different from the MCU version. But again, really, this is our very first Falcon and Winter Soldier product. I do expect there will be Marvel Legend action figures coming from the Disney Plus stuff. But this is definitely our first item here. And it is available for pre-order at places like our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store. It's going to cost you around $110. And if you missed out on the MCU shield, I don't have the MCU shield because I have a different company's one, so I didn't get the MCU one. I did get the comic book based one that they did, which I think is pretty cool. So, if you missed out on the MCU one, you might want to check this one out. And then while we're on the subject of Marvel, I wanted to bring up a story we reported the other week on a rumored list for the entire wave of House of X Marvel Legend figures. So basically, I hadn't talked about this in a news video because I was trying to get further confirmation, which I really haven't been able to do at this point. But what I wanted to mention is, well, first of all, let me just go over the rumor list. So we know definitely 3 figures in this wave. They were announced at PulseCon. It's going to be the Professor X. Again, these are all based on the House of X, Power of X storyline. So the Professor X with the fishbowl, and then the Moria figure is one of the figures in the wave, and then Magneto in his white outfit. So those all 3 are confirmed. But then I got some intel suggesting that the remaining 4 figures in the wave, and the intel I got, the person I got this intel from has always been very reliable. Everything they've told me in the past has turned out to be true. That's why I felt pretty confident in running the story. Now, of course, as always, this is rumor. We clearly state this is a rumor, so things change, or it's possible we got something wrong. But the remaining figures that we reported were Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Wolverine, which kind of seems like, right up Hasbro's alley, all based on the outfits they were wearing in that storyline. And with the Marvel Girl, assuming that we are pegging the right outfit, it's really that classic miniskirt outfit that she used to wear with the original X-Men. So I think that would have double appeal. And then the final figure we listed was Omega Sentinel. Now, one thing I want to note about that one, the Sentinel part was actually an assumption on our part. The intel just said Omega, so it's possible it's not Omega Sentinel. That seemed to make the most sense. Omega Sentinel had a fairly decent role in that storyline, so, and obviously, we got the Nimrod figure and stuff, so Omega Sentinel made the most sense to us. But I think there's another character, Omega Boy or something like that. I haven't read the full-ons. I read a couple of the issues, but I haven't read the full story. So that one could be definitely wrong. maybe the whole thing is wrong, and the reason why I have some doubt now from when I initially posted this story is because Jesse Falcon, who is with Toy Biz, or was with Toy Biz, now works for Marvel. He oversees all the Marvel brands from the very, he's Marvel's guy that oversees all the Marvel product that is made by various companies, including obviously Marvel Legends. So he definitely knows what this wave is, and he left a comment on one of our social media, the Marvelous News social media pages, where he said, keep guessing in regards to this story. So, kind of indicating that we were wrong in some way. So, again, it could be with the Omega character. It could be all of the above. I don't know. Again, the source that gave me the information has always been reliable in the past. So, I would find it hard to believe that the wave is totally wrong here. And like I said, because we made an assumption on the Sentinel, that might be what we're wrong on. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Hasbro's not going to officially tell us, not going to come and tell us what's wrong about our listing until they officially announce it, which I would expect to be soon, because this is one of the ways I think we'll start seeing release either at the very end of this year or early next year, along with the Spider-Man wave. So I would expect that Hasbro is going to officially reveal this wave, the full-on wave, and probably that Spider-Man wave with the Stiltman Build-A-Figure, the remaining figures in that wave as well, in the very near future. I don't know exactly when, but probably before the end of the year. Okay, and then finally, the last bit of news I have for you guys is on the Star Wars front. So this week, Target put up for pre-order 2 more Target exclusive Black Series figures, which are part of, the Disney Park line that they've been doing, the Galaxy's Edge line. So these are figures I believe were previously released in some shape or form at the Disney parks, but now they're coming to Target. So the first figure is the R5P8. I talked about this figure coming in a previous video. The figure had started to show up at some stores. And the other one is the Gold Commander figure, which I think actually first appeared, if I'm not mistaken, it actually appeared in that Disney Resistance cartoon. That's where he actually first originated from. The droid is Hondo's droid, so if you got the Hondo figure, you're probably definitely going to want the droid. The figures went up for pre-order the other day. They sold out in about an hour or so. The official release date on the figures are October 25th. Now, like with all these release dates that Target does, it looks like some stores are letting people buy the figures early, other stores are not. I don't know if there's an actual cashier lockout on these figures or not, but you might, even if you find them on shelves, you might find some difficulty in actually being able to walk out the store with them until October 25th, because that seems to be the official release date for these 2 figures. But again, definitely I've seen people finding the figures and even buying them. So that's just Target for you. They do this every time. I don't know why they bother with these embargo dates, or if they're going to do these embargo dates, it would be nice if they actually stuck to them across the board. But like I said, that's Target, and you'll just have to roll with it. But these 2 figures are definitely coming, and if you haven't seen them yet, you'll probably see them in greater number come October 25th. And, the pre-order sold out pretty quickly. The scalper bots probably got them, but I do imagine they will be available again online. These Star Wars figures don't seem to be that super hard to get. They come and go, but I definitely imagine they will be relisted, available again online, and then probably we'll have a decent number of them at physical stores. Okay, so that's it for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about. Again, with the channel, I've definitely been making some changes. Going to definitely be doing more live streams from here on out, I think. I really like that format. I like being able to interact with you guys directly. But I will continue to sprinkle in normal news videos as we go along, just because I realize those live streams can end up being long. They're generally at least an hour, if not 2 hours. Now, of course, you can fast forward if you don't want to listen to the Q&A portions and things like that in the live streams and just get the news. But again, I also realize that maybe some of you don't tune in to when you see it's a live stream. So I will continue to do regular news videos sprinkled throughout, but look for more live streams from me. Maybe another one tonight. I'm not entirely sure. But as always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News Message Boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.